Welcome everyone, this is Yvonne Davis and David Steele. We're accredited facilitators with Rocky Mountain Compassionate Communication Network, and we are here for Unleash Your Creativity, a blending of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron and Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. So today we're in week 10, which is recovering a sense of self-protection. And if you've read that chapter in Julia Cameron's book, then you know she talks a lot about addiction and
distraction.
Yeah, distractions. So, alrighty. So, I have something to tell you about today, which is, well, first of all, I want to give it a little bit of a setup. So this past weekend, the Rocky Mountain Compassionate Communication Network hosted Sarah Payton, and she is a certified nonviolent communication facilitator. She's certified with the Center for Nonviolent Communication, and she blends nonviolent communication with neuroscience. So we, our organization presented her for, there were basically 3 days. We did a Friday night event that was free, and then we did a weekend event. So she taught for 8 hours on Saturday and 8 hours on Sunday, and the weekend intensive had 50 participants. So she also had a book come out recently. It's titled Your Resonant Self by Sarah Payton, and it's published by W.W. Norton. So I wanted to give that setup because I think there was something about being at that workshop, that intensive workshop, that really, something has been like ready to be born for a few months now, and I think something about that workshop kind of tipped the scales. So I'll tell you what happened. David and I went to Starbucks for coffee yesterday morning, because that's just something we do.
Let's go get coffee at Starbucks.
Yes, that's something we like.
We are not being paid to plug Starbucks.
Yeah, it's for real. We actually do like to go to Starbucks. So anyway, we went to Starbucks and we sat and chatted a bit. And I was talking to David about something and feeling some frustration because my life is very much in a state of flux. It's pretty much always in a state of flux and unpredictability and transformation, but sometimes it's more fluxy than other times. So it was an unusually fluxy time in my life. And I was talking about, you know, trying to get focused on what's the next thing that I need to do. And he and I were having a conversation, and some anger started to come up in me. And I noticed whenever I get angry, I talk louder and faster and more in somebody's face. So I was talking like that to David, and I point my finger a lot. So So I was pointing to something in my journal and talking about authenticity, because there were some different things I could do, and I was like, this is not authentic. This is not authentic. And he's like, well, why is it on your list? And I thought about that. And then all of a sudden something clicked in me. And I suddenly almost sort of sat back, and I'm like, why am I trying to convince you of my authentic self? I don't have to convince you of anything. And I realized that I had been basically all my life trying to get people to see my authentic self and practically begging for it. And, you know, I'd finally given up with certain people in my family that I realized were, you know, it's just hopeless. They're never going to really get me. And I still want to be in a loving relationship with them, so I just let go of that. But David, I still wanted him to see my authentic self. And I felt like I was just begging for it. You know, like, why can't you see that this is not authentic me and this is? Why, what does it take to get you to see that? Then suddenly I realized it doesn't take anything. It's not my job to convince anybody of my authentic self. The only person who really needs to see my authentic self is me. So the reality I've been creating all these years, and I've known David for over 11 years now, this reality I've been creating over all these years was that I have to beg to get people to see my authentic self. I have to beg for it. Like, I crave it. I beg. Please see my authentic self, please.
That was really fun. Can you do that again?
That's a once in a lifetime thing.
Oh, well, it's on video.
So, yeah, and I suddenly, in a split second, I realized I don't have to explain it to anyone. I don't have to beg or, nothing. I don't have to convince, nothing. The only person who needs to see my authentic self is me. And the split second I realized that, it was like the whole universe shifted. It just 180. And I feel like, I felt really, it was that profound. I felt like instantaneously I was living in a whole different reality. And David certainly didn't argue with me, which kind of proved the point. So, yeah, so that was my little story. But then later that day, I really committed to it. I even wrote in my journal that I vow to be my authentic self and live my authentic life no matter what it takes. This is a vow. This is a commitment. And I am 100% there. So,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is a chapter 10 question.
Okay.
So when you're obsessed with people seeing your authentic self and begging them to see your authentic self, please see that and stuff, what are you distracting yourself from?
See, yes, that was a very good point that you brought that up, because what I realized after the whole thing had turned around for me was that I had spent all those years in an addiction where I'm craving for someone else to see my authentic self. And that keeps me distracted, because instead of just doing and being who I am authentically, just living my life that way, it gives me an excuse, because it's like somewhere deep inside I think, well, I can't do that because David hasn't seen that that's authentically me. So I'm waiting around for David to give me approval to do what's authentic. Yeah. And that's why we use addictions, all addictions, is because then we can put the responsibility outside of us. And we can wait, and we can wait, and we can wait for years to finally feel like we are free enough and safe enough to be the people we really want to be, and to let our creative juices flow as they were meant to flow. Because if you're busy watching TV, playing video games, drinking, getting high, what other things do people do addictively to distract themselves?
Have sex, go gambling, get all caught up in political drama.
Yeah, or other people's dramas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Live in a world of gossip.
Yeah.
Play the ain't it awful game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Play the I'm so small game. Play the I'm right game.
Oh, yeah. And also, the food addictions, either eating too much or too little, always obsessed with food. How much are you eating?
Yes.
Yeah. So many things that we can use to, well, all we're trying to do is we're trying to fill up that empty space inside. And instead of realizing we're all there already, there's nothing more that we need to fill up the space. It's all there already. and we can come back to that. So I say that in conjunction with week 10 because that's the subject matter, and also because of the fact that we just did that workshop, and that's exactly what Sarah talks about in her book, Your Resonant Self. So if you're still feeling a little bit lost about how you might start back to the journey of your own authentic self, I'd suggest looking into her work. I'm finding it to be very, very helpful.
So the last video focused on distraction. And if you go back and relook at the last video, you'll see distraction in action. This video does not have so much distraction. It is very front and center. So I just point that out as an interesting contrast.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add?
Can I talk about my biggest addiction?
Yeah, do you want to do that on this video, or do you want to do that on the next video?
I want to do it on this video.
Okay.
I am addicted to breathing. I find as soon as I take a breath, I want another one right away. I can't even wait. I am so addicted to breathing. I'm a chain breather. As soon as I, of course, chains, molten, but I try to breathe. I tried not breathing. You wouldn't believe the withdrawal symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't do it. My character was so weak, so I've just learned to make friends with my addiction to breath and just realize that that's who I am and that I'm going to continually want to take another breath. And I just had to accept that.
Okay. And I accept you too.
Cool. As long as you're breathing.
Yes. We're breathing together.
We are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we are breathing as one together, the same breath.
All righty. Are you done with your confessions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we will bring this to a close and hope that you enjoyed it and learned a lot, and especially just, the connection. That's why we do this work, because we love connecting. So we will say goodbye until next week, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
Okay. Can we say goodbye until tomorrow instead of next week?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Until tomorrow. We still have a little bit more left for week 10. Okay. So click subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications and click like on this video. And feel free to leave a comment in the discussion box below. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.